like to know actually, specifically, since I know a little bit about this, are you going to be using the hydraulic high-frequency vibratory Hammond method, or are you going to be using the hydraulic press-in method, one which has been negative towards the Triggs building, the other which has soil issues? Which of those methods specifically will you be using? And if it's the first one, how will you not have a similar outcome to what happened at the Triggs site?
Sir?
Yes, President Johnson. My name is Jim Alexander. I'm the Director of Design and Engineering, and I'd like to address Councilmember Goodman's questions.
Please go ahead.
In terms of the construction, what we're currently contemplating is we would do a hydraulic press-in method. We have done over 60 borings, explorations throughout the corridor, so we have a fairly good handle on what the soil conditions are in that area. We've also done a lot of investigation on the foundations that the council member has spoken of that are nearby the tunnel that's going to be built or proposed to be built. And we believe that based on our analysis, and we've had independent look at this as well, that this hydraulic press-in method is a suitable means of doing that. And we're continuing to advance that. We're at 60% design approximately about right now. We have more work to do, and we'll continue to work with the city staff as we proceed with our design efforts on this to understand more about these construction methods. But that's currently how we're contemplating the approach.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing that, I'm just going to speak briefly. I come to this decision from a long time service on the Metropolitan Parks and Open Space Commission, where this particular area, the chain of lakes, is the most visited park in the regional park system. That hasn't changed over the 34 years, I guess, since I started my service there. I find it interesting, actually, as someone who's represented neighborhoods over the years, I was always a little bit jealous of some of the attention that was given to airport traffic and airport noise and expenditures of dollars for mitigating airport traffic, because I have a rail line that really separates my northern part of my ward from the southern part of my ward, and it's been around. I used to live about 2 blocks away from it when I was growing up, and it continues to be a huge barrier for the people in my ward in the northern half, both for public safety and just rail crossings. And of course, because of the increased traffic of oil trains and increased economy and the efficiency of rail shipping, that problem has considerably worsened for some of my constituents. And actually, I think some of the challenges Councilmember Reich is going through with train expansion in his ward are an attempt to relieve some of the congestion in my ward. So we have been aware over the years, those of us who live in the far reaches of North Minneapolis, that train traffic is a challenge. Personally, in the home that I lived in before I lived in this one, I was evacuated 3 times for problems. One time, forklift pierced an ammonia truck and released an ammonia cloud in my neighborhood. We had to leave our neighborhood. Twice, there is a fertilizer company that shipped fertilizer, and 2 fires in that company then made us leave our homes. So this train stuff, I'm not happy, but I'm grateful that the recognition of the challenges of train traffic in our community are being realized. Now, I went to a Botno, I think, corridor management committee. I lose track of all the different kinds of committees that are associated with these light rail decisions, and had a call yesterday from my park commissioner who confirmed that we have challenges with Botno as well. Botno goes next to Theodore Wirth Park. It's a different situation. It's grade separated, so it's lower, but there are people that are really riled up about that. And because it goes through a significant wetland, when it gets into Golden Valley, there is a new kind of engineering that I had never heard of before, a new word. I had to go back and look it up in the dictionary about how to build a track on some sort of piling supported on a platform. And, what's the increased cost of that? We don't have an estimate. That's what I heard at the committee. So I think, we're being led down the same sort of a path in the Botno with a little less complication than, say, the 600,000 users that use the Kenilworth corridor every year. So I just think we have to be cognizant of these challenges and also cognizant of the public purse, because it just keeps going up and up and up and up. And you think, at what point you say enough is enough. So I won't be supporting this today. Any further discussion on the Transportation and Public Works item number 1? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Warsami.
Aye.
Goodman.
No.
Fry.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
No.
Kano.
Aye.
Reich.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
President Johnson.
No.
There are 10 ayes and 3 nays.
That item is adopted. Next, we have the Ways and Means Committee report, and that committee is chaired by Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam President. Ways and Means brings forward 22 items. That's one more than Transportation Public Works Committee, by the way,
Okay.
for your consideration this morning. Item number 1 is the 2016 license fee schedule. This represents no increase from the current 2015 schedule. Item number 2 and 3 are legal settlements. Item number 4 is a contract amendment with Restorative Justice Community Action. Item number 5 is a facility use agreement with UROC. 6 is a acceptance of a grant for Northside Funders Group. Item number 7 is a gift acceptance for attendance at the 2015 Business Day at City Hall. Item number 8 is a execution of architectural and engineering design services agreement with Hagen Christensen and McLean Architects. Item number 9 is a lease renewal with Aggregate Industries. 10 is a contract amendment with Hennepin Healthcare System. Item number 11 is contracts for professional debt collection services. 12, a contract with CenterPoint Energy Services, guaranteed supply of gas service for water treatment plants. And number 13 is from an information technology gift acceptance to attend several conferences. Item number 14 is a contract amendment with HLP, contract amendment with A+ Systems, a contract amendment with Bezotech. Item number 17 is an IT contract with Koenig for elections management system software. Item number 18 is a contract amendment with Deacon International. 19 is a wireless Minneapolis community benefits account application by the Atrium. This is an application for free wireless community account for the Atrium. Item number 20 authorizes a waiver of a bid process for a $95,000 conduit installation. Item number 21 is a master subscriber agreement with Minnesota Court Data Services for governmental agencies with the Minnesota Office of State Court Administration. And the final item is the passage of the ordinance related to the Art Commission. Happy to move all 22 items for your consideration.
Councilmember Quincy has moved the Ways and Means report. Any discussion on any of those items? Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Madam President. On item 38, I wish to pull to have an amendment.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
On 38, item 38, I have an amendment.
22 on the
22?
ordinance.
Okay.
For
On your Arts Commission ordinance?
Yeah.
You just wish to speak?
I wish to make an amendment.
An amendment?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, then why don't you move that amendment, Councilmember Reich? Oh, I see it. Okay. Why don't you move that?
Madam President, yeah, before you, the amendment just relates to the subset C. The commission shall advise the city council and city departments, and we're omitting all arts-related capital investment plans, programs, projects, and evaluations, and then adding initiated by the city.
Okay. On Councilmember Reich's motion to amend, any discussion? Seeing none, all in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. That item is amended. And Councilmember Quincy has moved all items, including the amendment, the amended motion. Okay. Oh, you want to speak to that, Councilmember Reich? Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. Just wanted to call out all the work that went into making this. There was a number of departments were involved in the commission representation as well. And given the commitment, I just would like to call out some of those people, given the time they put into. So Becky Franklin from the Arts Commission, Mary Altman from our Public Arts Administrator, Heidi Hamilton from Public Works, Sandy Christensen from our Financial Office, Mike Ablin from our Capital and Debt Management area, Jack Byers from Long Range Planning, Kirsty Munson, Long Range Planning Director, and Craig Taylor himself, CPED Director. So multiple departments were here to forge together, which we think is a sound policy. Given the range of people involved, I think it states in itself the importance of art and how it touches our enterprise. It's not an extra, it's an essential. We now tell the public, the art making public and the art consuming public, that it's an essential as well. We play a small role in the realm of activity around art. In my area alone, I represent an area that's $20 to $30 million of activity directly related to art and arts related industries. So it's an easy vote from that perspective, but it's not just about economic development. It's about an activity. It's about community and identity. I think one of the testimonies that happened in the public hearing on the Zoning and Planning Committee, I said it best. Not everyone goes to an institutional art place. Not everyone is engaged in an arts district. But because the city is involved, we make sure that every community has a chance to have art express what their community is about and who they are about in their community. And I think that's an appropriate role for the city to play. And now we're saying we're going to play it on a stable basis annually. Thank you.
Councilmember Glidden.
Thanks, Madam Chair. And I would like to add to that list of thank yous, which I wholeheartedly appreciate Councilmember Reich making sure that everyone is aware of the big coalition. But I also want to thank Councilmember Reich. He and I worked together on this ordinance, and I think we were able to help collect the input from many artists, the Arts Commission, and our city staff to come up with a product I think that we can be proud of and feel is strong for the city. This really takes what has been a very long-standing practice in the city of Minneapolis of identifying funds from our capital budget every year and dedicating those funds to support of public art. And it takes that practice and it quantifies it in a similar manner, but it makes it more consistent. And one of the things that I know has been popular both with staff and council members and artists themselves is that it also calls out the maintenance piece. So we have quite a collection of public art in the city of Minneapolis that reflects really decades of how the city has grown and reflecting our culture through those decades. And it is important not only to continue to add to the culture of the city through public art, but maintain the pieces that we do have. And I think that this ordinance helps us ensure we have the consistency for good planning and to maintain the pieces that we have. Wing Young Huey is an artist in my ward who has done many public art pieces. Many of them actually are partnerships with private business as a way to use that as a way to showcase public art. But he talked about his evolution as an artist and recognizing the importance of accessibility to art and the importance thus of public art. That, as Councilmember Reich said, we don't all have an opportunity or sometimes take that opportunity to walk into a space that seems elite, perhaps, but we walk on our streets, we drive in our neighborhoods, we take transit in our neighborhoods, we play in our parks, and those are spaces that we all own, and those are great places to reflect our culture, to reflect our heritage through public art. So I think this continues our commitment, longstanding commitment, and I'm excited to have been a part of the process.
Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam President, and a huge thank you to Council Members Reich and Glidden for moving this forward along with staff. As Councilmember Reich aptly stated, it's not an extra, it's an essential, and in Northeast, it's really a way of life. And I'm really proud to be representing Northeast along with you. Councilmember Reich, you're a wonderful advocate for the arts.
Councilmember Reich.
Thank you, Madam President. I should note that several of these committees that have been put together that have real broad enterprise implications. it's, it's not a coincidence that it's usually Council Vice President Glidden who's on the scene, not working on the what we want to do, but how we get there and how it makes it work. And I've been honored to be a couple times now. We've had enterprise questions, and Glidden's right there, the architect, the driver, to make sure it happens and happens well. So it was my pleasure to work on this one as well.
Further discussion? Seeing none, I just want to comment briefly. When Councilmember Glidden talks about the ongoing maintenance for these pieces, actually, Mary Altman, did I see her walk in? Okay, she's working on a project in my ward right now where an artist has a lovely installation on 42nd and Lindale, and it's Zoran, and I forget how to pronounce his last name, but as I look at that installation, he has pieces all over. Actually, Twins Target Field has one, and the private property owner across the street from the sculpture garden put a piece of Zoran's art in his private space. And his pieces are large. People crawl on them. They're stone. It's really wonderful. But we experienced some maintenance challenges with it, and we had to go through a process and get a budget so that we could redo that space. And it's always challenging. And so this work recognizes that, and I appreciate that. So thanks to my colleagues for the good work on this ordinance. So on the Ways and Means report, as amended, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Warsami.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon. Kano.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That report is adopted. Next, we have the Zoning and Planning Committee report. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Bender.
Thank you, Madam President. The Zoning and Planning Committee has 5 items today. Item number 1 is related to the Village Green development, and it's a setback variance appeal, granting the appeal and adopting staff findings. We also included a staff direction that no building permits are to be issued until such time that issues regarding crane tethering and shared use of the alley for deliveries are resolved. Item number 2 is vacation of air rights over a portion of the public alley related to that development in item number 1. Item number 3 is vacation of a public alley for Hennepin Healthcare System at the intersection of 8th Street and Chicago Avenue South. Item number 4 is vacation of a portion of 28th Avenue South at the Metro Transit LRT tracks. And item number 5 is the passage of an ordinance updating our zoning code to reflect the changes that were adopted last year related to 60/40 regulations. And I will move items 1 through 5.
Councilmember Bender has moved the Zoning and Planning report. Anyone want to pull anything off or discuss any of those items? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Warsami.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That report is adopted. Next, we have the introduction and referral calendar. And the first is a ordinance introduction by Councilmember Gordon pursuant to notice. He is introducing the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to the zoning code for first reading and referral to the Zoning and Planning Committee, amending zoning definitions to include limited production and processing. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Next, we have, pursuant to notice, Councilmember Andrew Johnson introducing the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to the zoning code for first reading and referral to the Zoning and Planning Committee, amending regulations relating to signs. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Next, we have, pursuant to notice, Councilmember Glidden, Bender, and Andrew Johnson introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating, adding thereto a new Title 7.5 entitled Working Families for first reading and referral to the Committee of the Whole, adding provisions relating to sick and earned sick and safe time and fair scheduling. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Next, we have resolutions, and we have 2 honorary resolutions today. One is declaring November 12th, 2015 Give to the Max Day in the city of Minneapolis, and the second is a resolution recognizing World Polio Day. Any discussion on those resolutions? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Announcements are next. Anyone have any announcements? I don't have any announcements. I don't know why I'm up there. Councilmember Yang, you're next.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to let the council know and also the public know that the last open street of the season or of the year is on Lowry Avenue tomorrow, and we welcome everybody there.
Starts at noon. Any further discussion or any further announcements? Seeing none, a motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
Is there moved and seconded? All in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.